Granblue Fantasy Relink. I played it for about 2 to 3 hours early before its release, and I have some thoughts, I have some opinions, so let's talk about them.
Right here, yo! Butterfly effect. Moonrise.
O blade which sunders evil. Swords of Venga! On me! Tempest Flame! Ha!
Frog friends! Blaze of frost!
Spinnacle on ivory wings! Ice Boogle!
And yet, elemental dust! Lightning blade! Noble execution! Ranger horn! This spear has no equal!
Ladies and or gentlemen, welcome back or welcome to the channel. My name is Zeno and this is my living legacy. Today's legacy is going to cover Granblue Fantasy Relink, which is an upcoming action RPG set in the Granblue universe, releasing the end of January 2024. It just dropped a demo on the PS5 or PS4 and PS5, offering many hours of gameplay, and it's even more if you decide to head into the co-op multiplayer section and tackle some of the missions and bosses. And I want to talk about it a bit. Also, for context, I have zero context, like in regards to Granblue. I know there's an anime, there's a fighting game. Actually, the fighting game's getting a collaboration with 2B from Nier Automata, because of course it is. I think there was a mobile title, I think, maybe. But I don't know anything about this series, the world, the characters, the lore, like literally nothing. So to say that Relink was like a game I was interested in would be false. I wasn't. And truth be told, I'm still not entirely sure I am either. So let's explore that through today's video. Before we do, guys, though, it's a new channel. I got a hammer at home. Like the video, leave a comment, subscribe if you're new. It helps it grow so much. So thank you to anyone kindly that does that for me today. All right, so Relink, it's an action RPG. It's like super fast paced. It's got blocking, dodging. You run around like a fairly open battlefield, mixing up combos with your weapons, skills, your link attacks with the other party members, all manner of like different special moves on enemies that like are really big and like trash mobs and really small. Speaking of big though, I will say from the trailer that pops after you beat the main story portion of the demo, it really reminds me of like a Monster Hunter style thing. It's got like major vibes there with like really large enemies with like weak points and stuff that you can attack and stagger. But we'll get into that in a bit in the combat section, but it definitely had some like Monster Hunter vibes, even though I don't think that's what the game is. So starting things off though, the demo itself has 3 modes, a very basic tutorial, then a story portion you can go through that follows Gran and his friends. You rescue some people from some goblins. It escalates in like a big boss battle at the end. Fairly typical stuff. It's also got a mission quest section where you can run 3 different quests, solo and co-op, and choose any of the playable characters and explore their kits, ranging from like a horde mode quests and lots of minor enemies, and the 2 others, which is the one I kept replaying, was the giant lizard. It's like just one giant boss you tackle for like 3-4 minutes. So I checked out the tutorial briefly and said like, okay, cool, nah, I'm good, I'm a real man. I jumped straight into the questing section, didn't do the story bit until after. And of course, being the degenerate weeb that I am, the first character of choice for science, please keep that in mind, for science, was Namaya. If that's how you pronounce her name. You know, the pink-haired, the busty, the thighs, the long-ass samurai-style sword. Please, what else do you expect from me to choose here, game? Like, come on. She attacks with, like, slow attacks in one stance, and, like, fast attacks in, like, another stance. She builds up these, like, little butterfly things for more damage on her skills. She has, like, a big burst move that's, like, Judgment cut from, like, Devil May Cry Virgil. But being the first character that I actually tried in the quest section though, I had absolutely not grasped the combat mechanics yet. And I ended up not enjoying her as much because I didn't have the basics down yet. So I went off, I tried a different character. I tried Siegfried, who reminds me of Soul Calibur. He just wields a giant sword and he can buff himself and the party a bit. Generally, these characters are my type of characters too, that have like the giant, massive anime-style swords. Didn't quite like him as much as I thought. I tried Gran, which is like, I'm assuming the main character. He's fairly fun, but again, it's kind of the main character, so he's a very balanced fighter. He had some healing, had an armor break move, a ranged attack, and some fairly generic sword combos. And also his character model itself is kind of generic compared to like most of the other characters you could play out, which was, you know, I have no context for Granblue, so I don't know if that's just a normal thing for the main character, but compared to everyone else, he just seemed a bit generic to me. I tried Catalina next. She was ice, and now look, ice is my favorite element, so anything with ice usually makes me the happiest. And she was really fun to play. Like, she builds up like an ice gauge, and you can use it to hit enemies with these awesome summoning like form. She like summons like a spirit thing for more damage when it builds up. I really liked playing her. She was a lot of fun. I tried Rackham, someone who uses like guns and fire element. I was having fun at first because it was ranged and everyone else was melee. And then it kind of wore off quickly by the end of the play session. I was like, I like playing range units when I can sometimes, but this wasn't quite for me with the guns. I didn't quite enjoy his mechanics. Lancelot. Now this is where I started really having fun with the demo. Again, he wields ice elements, so that's already a plus. And he wields dual dagger, like short sword things as well, which is whatever they are. That's really cool. He was like fan-freaking-tastic. You can mash the attack one and do like near non-stop slashes. You can dodge into the air with one move. He has like a trap move. He's got ranged attacks. I had easily the most fun playing as Lancelot. He's definitely someone that I would main in this game. I tried Io, I think that's her name. It's Io or Lo, I don't know. It's the mage, the girl with the mage class, elemental spells. She has like a charging spell when she attacks, so she can charge up. She was quite fun too, but of course being a mage, she's very squishy and kept getting knocked around and stuff. Charlotta, she was really fun. She's like an itty bitty female with a giant sword, very cliche. But she does these cool ass like aerial combos and smackdowns. And I think she had like some like defensive stuff as well. I really liked her a lot, actually. Zeta, there was a fire user with a spear. She was really hot, but she was really fun. She does like all these cool aerial combos as well, kind of like Charlotta. But she also has counter moves, super flashy, ton of fun. Really liked playing with her as well. And then finally, the last character I tried was the big boy, Gundungazol. I don't know how to pronounce his name. I'm not even going to try. It was the giant guy, 3 times the size of Charlotta. Slow, bulky melee fighter that builds up a meter for like bigger damage. Didn't have that much fun with him. I like melee monk style classes, but he's just a bit too slow and bulky for me, so not for me. All in all though, characters, there was a great variety. Like, I don't know if there's going to be more characters or not in the final game. I actually assume there will be. So there's bound to be like some people that you enjoy playing as, so props to them. There's so much variety in the gameplay with all the different character kits. Also feel like the combat system, once you fully understand it for a character, is probably a lot more in-depth than I realized after only playing for a couple of hours and trying a little bit of everyone. So I see a lot of these clips on Twitter already all day where people making all these massive awesome combo showcase videos, and I'm like, okay, I clearly don't understand the combat very well yet. So it's clearly more in-depth than I think for an action game. But speaking of combat itself though, I will admit the screen felt a little cluttered. Like, there was a lot going on, and being such a fast-paced system with the combos, the link attacks, blocking, dodging, the teammates UI on the top left, the boss in the middle, the quests on the top right, items on the bottom left, attacks being on the bottom right, there's names of things popping up on the screen in the middle, there's link stuff on the middle right, there's fucking numbers flying everywhere. It's very flashy, but unfortunately I found it kind of messy. And there didn't seem to be any options to like scale down some of the UI elements, like the text sizes or the boxes. Kind of disappointing. I kind of hope the full release has options to maybe tweak the UI to each specific user. Speaking of more options though, I need to talk about the resolution of this game because, oh boy, I kind of hope this is a demo build only thing, because it had 4K resolution at 30 FPS, which is fairly standard still even today. It's a shame, but it is. But to get 60 FPS on the PS5, it jumps it from 4K down to 1080p. 1080p! What on earth is 1080p doing in 2024? We're 3 years into the life cycle for for the next gen consoles. Like, hold me down, please. I'm going to fight someone IRL. On PC, I'm assuming you can do whatever you want because it's PC, but I'm just, man, I don't know what magic you got to do, but an action RPG like this, that's this fast-paced and hectic, it needs to be played in 60 FPS because the difference in the smoothness and response is just too much to give away to some nicer graphics. 1080p, like, goddamn, bro. It was kind of a jarring realization, I'm not going to lie. However, you know, like, not all doom and gloom, though. With that being said, the art style, the way the art style is, the vibrant colors and the models of the characters and the enemies, 1080p didn't look bad at all. Like, it's the actual footage I captured on screen, because that's the mode I played in. But switching from 4K to 1080p, it was very noticeable as someone who has 4K monitors and a TV. So that's just something I wanted to point out. I hope that's a demo-only thing. We'll touch on the story just really quickly. The vertical slice they pulled was a very simple, you land your ship, you go rescue people from goblins, you face a big boss at the end. It was fun, it was fine enough. You can only control Gran though. You start a lower level when you only have a few skills. Kind of actually helped me understand the combat a bit better against lower level enemies, and it was a bit more slower paced. Not all the skills were unlocked, but that being said, like, the game can still look flashy as all hell though. That's definitely a plus. You can go through some semi-small open zones. There's some chests you can find, some enemies to beat. I don't know if there's going to be puzzles in the world or anything else whatsoever, or like some true exploration. I'm curious to know. But in the end, you just beat up this giant goblin boss. So I am really curious to know how big the game's story is actually going to be and how its structure is going to be told. Will it be like many open zones or just like a few towns like in the questing section of the demo, which teleport you to some locations and back? I'm actually really interested because, again, this like the trailer at the end made it seem like this proper action RPG that gets like super wild with places and bosses and animations. So I really can't tell if this is going to be like a proper action RPG with like co-op elements, or it's supposed to be more of just like it's got a small campaign and then it's got like it's mainly going to be this co-op multiplayer thing that you grind with your friends and people online for like loot and extra items and upgrades and leveling people. I really can't tell what it's actually going to be. But all in all though, after 2-3 hours, I'd say I enjoyed my time with Granblue. I was left fairly positive by the end. The game had some really cool combat and vibrant locations and characters, but there's still nothing that screams like day one to me. But that might be a personal bias because I have no connection to the series of Granblue as a whole. I've never played anything prior, never watched anything. So I wasn't originally going to pick this up anyway before this. But now having hands-on experience, it is safe to say that I'm at least a bit more curious on what the final product turns out to be. Because I, for one, I'm not a co-op person or multiplayer person at all anymore. So I'd be flying completely solo on this. So I do wonder if that would detract from the overall experience, as that does seem to be a large part of the fun, is playing with your friends and people online. But while the combat was hectic and cluttered UI-wise, it was my style of combat, I will admit. But I'll also freely admit my hands did hurt a little bit after playing for a few hours. Like, I was mashing so many buttons, so I need to give my hands a rest. But nonetheless, Granblue Fantasy Relink launches on January 29th, 2024 on both PS4 and PS5 and PC. And feel free to check out the demo today if you're interested on console. All that said and done, guys, that's it. That's the video. So thank you so much for stopping by, watching this first impressions, giving me your time of day. Before you leave, please make sure to like the video if you haven't enjoyed it, subscribe if you're new around here, and follow me on my socials or join the Discord links below. And let me know if you're actually getting this game at all, have an experience with the Granblue series prior. I'm actually curious to talk more about it with some people that might have more experience than me. Anyway, I think I will leave it there, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. So I hope you guys are having a fan-freaking-tastic day as always. My name is Zeno, and you guys take care now.